Super fast tortoise in the show, drinking coffee, wishing you oh, because life is slow. Super fast tortoise. Start the morning with coffee in your cup. Time to hang out with friends and chat it up. Bring a smile and good luck. Hit that like button and let's chat it up. Good times start with us, you and me.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, welcome to the morning coffee show. Let's talk from in the shell and share good vibes and good times. Friends and trends have been the senses. Let's get a bit senseless. Welcome to the morning coffee show, where we bring good vibes and good times. Welcome to the morning coffee show with super fast Tortoise. Welcome to the morning coffee show, where we have the flow.
And everybody, here we go. That's right.
Good morning.
Good morning. Look, we got a full house today. Full
Good
house.
morning.
Today. And everybody is here. Everybody's here. We got Rayman, Hibbly, Matt Saxon, Lone Wolf. That's right. Check it out. Lone Wolf is feeling better enough to be on screen.
Good.
He might not talk a lot. His voice is a little bit, but hey, he's here. He's happy.
Missed you, Lone Wolf.
Yeah,
We did. It feels like it's been a million years.
Seems like it's been.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. So behind the scenes, we were talking about lore and magic cards and cards we want and things that looking spicy. Rayman is just on a shopping spree. He's like, how close can we get my bank account to zero?
Well, I'm just going to tell you, as of 8 seconds ago, it's $40 less than it was previously.
That's a good respectable number. It's a good start. Those are rookie numbers, actually.
Rookie numbers.
Yeah. Well, that's all I want to spend. But when you show me a card that looks that good for a wall deck, I got to buy it.
Like balls to the walls. Doran! That's right.
The tree man himself, he is returning.
That's right. Hey, what a good, wonderful morning, everybody. Hope you got your coffee or your libation of choice to keep you going and flowing as we wake you up with this topic today. We are redoing yesterday's topic because yesterday was a little convoluted and a little different. We wanted to simplify it, make it easier, to understand and digest so we can add it to the playlist. Yeah.
I'm glad that I went back and watched it last night because I was looking at the screen going, you guys are crazy. You're doing it wrong. But no.
We're doing it wrong. We're doing it wrong.
Not really. Because like you said, during the episode, you pointed out, like, nobody's really wrong. And it comes down to a matter of how you play or perceive it and stuff. So that's the beauty of this stuff, really.
Oh, yeah. It is the beauty.
Yeah. I told Tortoise last night, I was like, I think we got a little bit lost in the weeds. It like a great golf shot. We looked good off the tee, and then just pulled it a little bit, and we ended up in the rough.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think that we can simplify it down to where you do not need a PhD in Magic the Gathering to understand the basic concept of it.
Right.
And like most things in life, once you get the very basic concept of it down, it will become so second nature that you use it without even thinking about it, which is actually how this whole thing started. I sent a message to Tortoise and just in my brain, it was how I wanted to word it. And then it sent Tortoise down a rabbit hole. And 2 days later, we're here.
We're climbing.
I did apologize for that.
Hey, look, anything to spark a thought is worth it, Yeah.
You got to sharpen those critical thinking skills.
Critical thinking skills. Well, one thing I'm trying to do.
Why I play Magic?
Well, one thing I've been doing lately that's been different than my normal behavior is at least trying to get a day before advance on some of my episodes prepared. Help build the structure to some of our deeper conversations. And that's what this has been about. And we're just doing take 2 on this.
Sorry about that. It's getting really hot in the lab here.
Well, why don't you just take off your clothes?
Oh my! That's after the show, dude. Sorry. I think the simple one is just turn the fan on. I think that's the best way.
Well, like
What
I
everyone
know-
misses in the post-show meeting.
That's right. a post-show meeting.
There's a debriefing after this, and it gets crazy.
That's right. I'm kidding. Like I just remember back in our days when we were young, we had that song. It's getting hot in here. Every time my wife says something like that, I sing the song.
Yeah.
All right, enough about that. Enough about it. We're all about to ball here. But anyways, so let's get to the first part of the day where we talk
We love to
about
ball.
Card of the day. Combo breaker.
Card of the day, which was actually referred to us by Tibalt on Discord. If you're not a part of Discord, you should become a part of Discord because you can be one of the people who interact with the show this way. Here we go. We got the Gridtog Monster, one of my wife's favorite creatures since she loves frogs. 3 generic, a black and a green, legendary creature, frog, horror, 6/6. Death touch. This is at the beginning of your upkeep. Sacrifice the Gridtog Monster unless you sacrifice a land. But you may play an additional land on each of your turns, and whenever one or more lands are put into your graveyard from anywhere, draw a card.
Cool.
This card is bonkers nuts. So you
This
read
may
it,
be the only 6/6 in all of Magic that no one cares that it's a 6/6 with Death Touch or anything else. Because when
Right.
this thing hits the table, it's all about the card drawing and the lands. That's like, it could be a 1/1 and it would be just as scary.
That's right. It's that ability, especially like in Hearthrall deck. But Hillbilly and I, a long time ago, played against a Gridtog deck that was just pretty much top tier. You know, you're right. No one cares that it's a 6/6. They care about the abilities on this booty here.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Another
The
thing about
Hearthole
this-
Precon actually comes with this card and the Infinite Combo card that goes with it,
Oh, wow.
which is insane.
Insane.
Drakmore Salvage is in the Hearthole Precon, and
Oh.
it goes infinite with this card.
That's pretty cool. Jackmore Salvage is the land with dredge, right?
100%. Yep.
What were you gonna say, Mr. Saxon?
I was just going to say that I care about the 6/6, but only because I'm old and an old player, and I just think about the days when you were paying 6 for a 4/4 and thinking it was a good deal. It was a good rate.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day when a 6-mana 6/6 just with trample was the business. Now today you look at a 6-mana 6/6 with trample, like it's okay.
Okay, what else does it do though?
Yeah, right. Exactly. But it's pretty crazy. And Great Tech Monster is awesome. Combolicious. I definitely want to get a hand on the Hearthrole deck when possible. Like on Amazon.com, looks like I can get a copy for $45. So I need to talk to the wife and see if I can spend some of that monies to get that deck. Because I want to make a
It's worth
$5
every penny of it.
Which set is that from? The Commander from? I mean,
it's from Edge of Eternity.
Edges.
that's the deck I just took apart. Okay, to get
Oh.
this. Yeah, I just took that deck apart and put him in my Lord Windgrace deck.
Nice.
Cool.
He was 100% in mine.
Yeah.
That card is my only regret about the colors that I have of my landfall deck now is I can't run black in it, so I can't run this guy.
No.
Yeah.
I love Get Rog so much.
Yeah.
But I like Omnath more, so we have to make choices in life.
Choices and sacrifices. And thinking of sacrifices, let's get to the picture of the day. Picture of the day. I keep calling picture of the day, but really it's like a meme, but they're like bad memes because I'm the one creating them. 'Cause remember being a kid and imagining your heroes going on amazing adventures and playing with your action figures? So is that supposed to be Universes Beyond and Magic the Gathering?
That's a fairly good analogy. Sure.
Yeah,
I think it is. I think it's pretty on point, actually.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I have to agree with everybody else. I think the same thing about this because pretty much that's what Universes Beyond is.
Mhm. Yeah, and like you get to play with your favorite characters and go on adventures with them. Like one of the reasons why I want the turtle deck when it comes out. So I want to be able to play with all my Ninja Turtles. No, go ninja, go ninja, go ninja, go. The turtle rap. That's right.
The only downside is when like one of your favorite characters is incredibly powerful and no one lets you play with them.
Yeah. But look, I'll be honest to you. When the Ninja Turtle set comes out, and if there's not a Vanilla Ice reference in this set, I'll be upset.
Well, from the cards that they've shown, there's lots of touching from different eras of the Turtles. We've seen movie references and some of the artwork. So there's got to be at least a turtle rap reference somewhere in there.
There have to be a sorcerer and instant that is just ice baby.
Right. Ice baby. That'd be funny. But like, look, there better be 2 cards in this set. One called Heroes in a Half Shell, and another one called Turtle Power. You got to have those 2 cards in there. Like 2 cards. Like even if they're not in the commander deck, have them be in the main set.
Right.
Heroes in a Half Shell.
Otherwise, the set's a fail.
That's right. All right. Well, with that, my friends, let's get to the question of the day. The question of the day is brought to you by yours truly, and I think this one is going to be fun. But I'm thinking about next. I should have switched it around to make other people answer the question for other people. But here we go. Super Fast Tortoise here with the question of the day. The question of the day being, if you were an existing Magic card, but your art of you is on it, what card are you? What card would you put your picture on for you, for Magic, for fun? Let's get into it.
Counterspell.
Yeah. Counterspell. No hesitation there. He's like, I'm Mohawk and a sweet counterspell.
What about you, Hillbilly?
That's a tough one.
Mm-hmm.
3 steps ahead.
Oh, good choice. I should probably go for something obvious like Tybalt, but going back to the conversation we had before we started, I think I would like my picture on the Reaper King because I like blowing up stuff and destroying permanents.
Oh, blowing up stuff and destroying permanents sounds good.
Saxon, I bet there's an artist out there who could take Dwight's head off of the Office Reaper King and really just put yours in, and it would look perfect.
That is a good point. If not, I will work on that myself.
What about you, Lone Wolf?
It depends on which version of me do you want to see, the happy me or the evil me.
Oh, that sounds like a Lorwyn card or Dustmore.
The evil side of me is Armageddon.
Nice.
And the fun side of me would be Dual Nature.
Nice.
Nice. So if I put my work on a card right now, based on my reputation in the community, I guess my picture would be on Nova Blast Worm. For those who don't know,
I'm surprised you didn't say a turtle card.
Well, Nova Blast Worm costs 2 generic, 2 green, 2 white, and whenever he attacks, you destroy all other creatures.
Oh yeah.
Board wipe. How wormy can I be? And I haven't had a lot of good chance to play with a lot of turtle cards yet, so I don't know about turtle cards. I got turtles. I got a lot of good turtles from Magic. I just need to put them in a deck. Yeah. But anyways, that sounds fun. But anyways, let's get on to the show topic, right? Everybody's excited that we're on this topic. Let's get to the hot topic, and let's start with a round of applause.
Nice.
All right. So, the 4-player dilemma. Well, we have a graphic for this. All right. Here's the 4-player dilemma. And this is how the game starts. It's not going to explain everything about the 4-player dilemma. All right. Player 1 is first to play a land, first to draw a card. Player 2 is first to react to player 1 and second to play a land and draw a card. Player 4 is the first to assess the table completely and last to react, while player 3 is first to prepare and third to predict the table. Meaning, play order is different. So people usually, like yesterday, we were talking about this, and people are like, player 1, player 2 should play more aggro, while player 3 and player 4 should play more defense. But I think that's all based on what your deck's going to do. Like I can imagine player 4 being more aggro. Just look at me on Hillbilly Stream. Player 4, what? But I think there's a different advantage to this. Like player 4 gets to assess the table before he plays his first land and assess who he thinks the threat's going to be. I mean, sometimes it's obvious when someone plays turn 1 Soul Ring and everything, but but like as the player order goes, player 4 gets to observe everything. Player 1, if he switches his mindset to making him think he's like in 4th place, like after he goes first and starts imagining himself in last and he's last to go, he'll assess the table more correctly. But with that, that's just a little bit of jargon and words. Anything you guys want to add to this?
Well, it also depends on draws. Because like the last game I had, I wasn't drawing nothing but land.
Well, you were stuck in lands. You were having issues with lands.
Yeah, I mean that's all I was drawing. Couldn't draw no.
I saw 5 Bolas to Citadel triggers, and 4 of them were lands.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that does change the game a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't want to. Because if you're playing a big powerful spell like Bolas, and all you get is lands, ain't using it to its full potential.
Right, and that's very situational. Very situational. Let me get a little dialogue in here. Let's talk about the 4-player dilemma. The 4-player dilemma is where you put 4 players into a group game and tell them only one person can win. You won't know when a person will win or who will win. But the purpose of the game is to make the most optimal plays and strategize against 3 other people with both presumptive knowledge and no real knowledge at all. Meaning you're going to presume and assume that there's certain cards in the deck because the colors are running, like removals and stuff like that. It is all real guesswork mixed with your experiences with playing Magic the Gathering, turning time and experience into strength. Now, a few things you want to do is to disrupt other people's plans, slow people down, make them work hard, and for their game, make them struggle. You want to win, but for the dilemma's sake, you want to make it hard for everyone else to win. You want to be the wrench in their plans. In this game of chance, you don't know if you will win, but you will try to bend every game action and make everything you can work to your advantage and not against you. And this welcomes you to the world of politics. Now, politics is in the game. Now, no matter your views on politics in the game of Magic the Gathering, in the 4-player dilemma, you want to finagle deals and agreements in your favor as much as possible. Now, imagine verbal agreements as invisible. I spelled that wrong in here. Invisible cards in the game of Magic the Gathering that you and another player craft to create an in-game action in which does not exist a real paper Magic card that form a layer of protection between 2 players, or an additional attack step, or maybe something else, or maybe one player has a card that can boost your plan in full action. Who knows? It is something to consider manipulating. But not using it out of desperation. So don't use politics out of desperation if possible. Now, in the end, you will try and put an effort into winning in the commander game. You will find a line and focus on your game plan as you deck build. You do put in forms of disruption and removal in your deck when you build it for other players, but you can't really plan for 4 players. You can't really have all the removal for 4 players all the time. I mean, it's not like sticking like 12 board wipes in your deck and all that fun jazz. You're not a tortoise. But like a 4-player game of rock, paper, scissors, you're playing with pseudo random decks. Yes, pseudo, meaning not completely random. They're 99 cards. You're not changing. They're not completely random. They're stuck within the limits. And with draws, you try to control and tutor. You try to control and tutoring cards so you can control your draws as much as possible. So while you're trying to figure out the table of players and deck demographics, you will fight to make sure no one can win. And as best as you can, you will draw an imaginary line of focus with the knowledge of what's in your deck, like we talked about deck memory before, with the basic knowledge you have of the colors your opponent's decks, you try to work with that on your line. Now, the commander line is a focus line where you put yourself on a path and strategy. And the path is focusing on your strategy with your win cons in mind and a game plan to work to go towards in your decks win cons, and you try to work with your deck's win cons and try not to swerve off that path. But in a 4-player game, other people like yourself will try to disrupt you and use their removals to throw you off your game. So having alternate win conditions and outs being ways to get out of a slump, as you can get better at Magic Gathering deck building, you will master this. You will get back on track to follow your line of focus. But because in a 4-player dilemma, you are communicating through 3 nonverbal methods. No, I'm not saying you don't talk at the table, but there are 3 nonverbal methods that people pay attention to as you communicate. You're playing cards that can telegraph your plans on the board, game actions and responses that draw other players to focus on your left hand and right, meaning a metaphor from, don't let other people see what the right hand is doing when the left hand is distracting them. And then the third way of communication is the eyes on board, where you are assessing their board, reading cards in your hand, graveyard, etc., giving off the silent giveaways, telegraphing, and let's not forget unspent mana. Whew.
That was a mouthful.
Yeah. But anyways, that's like schmoozing everybody in there.
I had to literally take notes while you were going through that so I could keep up with what I had to say.
Game Bob he's like, I like to play cards around. I love coloring outside the line. That's right. But anyway, so the 4-player dilemma, with all that I was explaining, hoping it makes a lot of more sense to you, right? Makes sense to you out there. But it's a game of communication, and most of the communications that speak the loudest are the non-verbal communication skills. You're playing cards, you're assessing the table, and you're trying to politic your way through a 4-player game, because the point is to get you to win, and a lot of people try to win without looking like they're trying so hard. And that's where politics kind of come in, and you try to schmancy your way out. Now, I've never seen people slip money under the table saying, hey, if you do this, I don't see people rigging the game like that. But honestly,
it is against the rules.
It is against the rules.
Until you can't give me more money then.
Right? but people do say, hey, buddy, if you don't attack me this turn, I'll do this favor for you. And they have like example A or example B as a favor, and they agree on it. They kind of make that layer of lines, because what people are trying to do is they're trying to give each other a chance to win, because sometimes the 4-player dilemma is more about the game of cards. Sometimes it's about the game of players, right?
Well, it's like I said yesterday, politicking with someone in a 4-player game just makes sense. Right, the less fronts you have to fight on or worry about, the better, and that's advantageous for both players.
Right.
Like if we're playing a game and I look at the ball and I say, "Hey, the ball, we ain't got to worry about each other. We can worry about each other when it's us. Let's worry about that. Then I don't have to worry about what the ball's doing, and as long as you don't go back on deals, and I have never broken a commander deal. Winning one game is not worth losing dozens in the future. As long as everybody sticks to their deals, then that's one less thing you have to worry about. And then when the other 2 players are gone, then you 2 can just hash it out.
Right. Hash it out. Because that's one thing I hate about politics is no matter how well your politics go, you eventually do have to turn your back on your opponent eventually and just go for the throat, basically. Not everybody.
Well, yeah, eventually someone has to win the game.
And not everybody Game Bob who just plays to have the maximizer fun. Some people are like, okay, it's game time. We gotta play to win, and it's pretty cool that you play to have fun. That's good, Game Bob.
I tend to agree with Gaming Pop from the standpoint of, and I'm going to misquote Mike Tyson, I believe, that everybody has a plan and then they get punched in the face.
Right.
So a lot of times looking at the chart, and I'm not disagreeing with it, but I'm looking at it and applying it to myself, And I don't have a plan until I start seeing what cards develop. And I almost never actually want to go first because my decks aren't designed to maximize that slot. So it's a good thing to listen to other people talk about this stuff. And just because I'm not doing it doesn't mean I shouldn't be doing it. So it's good to hear other people's opinions about it and stuff. But I like the idea of going later in the game. I don't even mind being in that fourth player seat because, again, like you said, I want all the information.
Right.
Another quick note is I was trying to think about the best way to describe the line, or in the sense that I think Raymond intended it. And the line would be like the path of least resistance to get you where you want to go, whether that be a line to a win or a line to a style of play. That's kind of what you're looking for. You're looking for the flow of those things all going together and coming together in a successful outcome, whatever that is. If it's like Gaming Bob, it's just a game where you had fun. If it's somebody else is maybe a little bit more aggressive, then it is a line to the win. So
I've played with Gaming Bob before. He like one of his favorite decks that he's played with is his group hug deck. Like it literally is group hug for Commander raids. Like it just makes everybody draw extra cards and everything. Wow.
More cards, more opportunity.
I love playing group hug. I think Miss Bumbleflower is an incredibly fun commander to play that has some really interesting win cons. 20-Toed Toad is a great card. I have won so many games with 20-Toed Toad.
What does that one do?
At the beginning of combat on your turn, if 20-Toed Toad has 20 or more counters on him, or you have 20 or more cards in your hand, you win the game.
Nice.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
And Game Bob says he does politics to allow him to do a thing. That's cool. That's the best way to do it. Like getting you to do a thing. Like one time I talked myself out of a counter spell someone had on me. Like I didn't talk to myself. I talked them out of a counter spell saying I do it. Sometimes like the reason why I don't like politicking is because sometimes I get really wretched and backhanded with them. Like one time I was playing with my family and my son was going to destroy something of mine. I says, "Hey, if you don't do that, I'll get rid of this creature that's threatening your board." Not knowing there was a board wipe in my hand.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the other thing too, because I arguably don't like the idea of politicking myself. Like I generally won't say things to save myself because I know somebody has to win. So I'm not going to do that. But if I do have to politic, I'll just say, listen closely to the wording that I'm using.
Right.
Because like I can remove that threat there. The removal, though, as Tortoise knows, may be removing the entire board. But it's like, hey, I can remove that threat for you if you let me live for another turn.
Right.
Okay. Destroy every permanent.
That's right.
And I feel like people who politic often know that. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm sitting at a table and I'm looking at something that's an existential threat to me and I have no way to get rid of it, and you Tybalt say, I have a way to get rid of it, I don't care how you get rid of it. I mean, I legitimately don't care. If it's an existential threat to me, if it means my board's gone, so be it. If it's going to kill me, whether my board's there or not, then I need it gone.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
you can't win the game if you're not in the game. As long as you have one life,
Exactly.
you got to stay there. So
I tell people that all the time. You only need one life and to not draw when you don't have a card left in your deck. As long as you have
that lab maniac.
Yeah, well, yeah. If you have Lab Man, then you're just like, please let me draw. Please let me draw.
But like, so the 4-player dilemma is like basically you get 4 people in a room to play a game, and like with communicating only through your cards, pretty much, and learning how to politic, you're trying to get people to play a game effectively. And you're trying to get a winner out of a game everybody's winning. Like you want to win, but you want to make it look like someone else wants to win sometimes. But sometimes you want to get on top of the game while someone else is trying to get on top of you in the game. And it really unfolds. The dilemma is the communication. And I think that's one thing that's not really talked about a lot. Because like people talk about politics, and politics is a form of communication, but there's a lot of nonverbal communication things you do, and like And with your experience, like yesterday I pointed out, like we played a game where a person played a Philadelphia Sovereign very early in the game with over 40 life because he's playing Oloro. And I'm like, if no one can deal with this card, because the nonverbal communication, because the guy just played this card and he's like, doesn't really read what it does. Like he doesn't read it out loud. Like most times you play a card, you like play it. I'm like, you guys, so I know the card. Love the card from original Zendikar block. I'm like, if no one can deal with this card, we lose the game. Right there.
So would that be considered, would that fall under your category of telegraphing? And how do you deal with a miscommunication in telegraphing? So, I mean, I see people put cards down and say, oh, no, that's not what I'm using it for. Do you trust them, or is that up to the person? Like, how do you deal with that?
That's up to you.
Personally, it depends on if that person has, like, if I trust that person.
Yeah.
If it's somebody who I've played Magic with for a while, if I'll know whether or not that they're telling me the truth, right? Because I know I've played with them enough to know. If I sit down at a table with random people who I've never met before, and they play a card and they say, "Oh, that's not what I'm using it for," okay, yeah, sure, buddy.
Show me, prove it.
When the game is over, you flip me through your deck, and from that point on, I'll trust you. Until that point, no way.
Well, and some people just play for the story, right? Like one time I was playing against the ball in a game with a Planeswalker deck, and I played a Johnny Vengeant, the one that blows up lands. I'm like, okay, I just use it. I even told him, I said, I play this card just to use these abilities. I don't blow up lands. But at the end of the game, he's like, blow up my lands. Blow up my lands.
That's what it's in there. You got a story there, use it. I wasn't taking it too seriously. I thought it was funny. I think it was down to the two of us or whatever. I didn't care, So, yeah, go ahead and use it. It serves the greater good. We're back to Gaming Bob here. We're playing for fun.
Right.
And the stories that we create. So I think that's an important thing to not lose sight of. While we're talking about all this stuff and we're optimizing this and we're doing this and we're looking for that line of play, I think it's important that we don't lose, and not everybody plays for the same reasons, but it's important that we don't lose sight of the fact that we are doing this purportedly for fun, whatever that is.
For fun. And that's the point of the game of Magic, to have fun. But there are competitive players. That's why we got CDH. Some people just think they're competitive, and so they just have a reason to be a dick. But honestly, the point of the game is to have fun, and as much as the bracket system still needs fixing, it's there to help communicate your deck levels, your power levels. Like I think Hillbilly has a good idea. They need like a tier level each bracket, like lower, middle, and high end brackets, so people kind of get an idea of where it fits in the bracket. Because some decks are just crazy, but in a 4-player game, it's all about that pregame communication as well.
I will say that while I like Hillbilly's idea of the different power levels, I do not trust people to accurately be able to tell me how powerful their deck is.
Well, yeah, but
I can barely have people accurately tell me what bracket their deck fits in.
That's
so
true.
To say, okay, this is a bracket 3 deck. Now, is it low, middle, or high tier? I have zero faith that anybody could do that consistently and accurately. I think most people don't. I think most people don't have a good idea of how powerful their decks are or lack thereof.
Well, that's where you would consider the salt level of the decks. The salt levels would actually put them up into the tiers.
But just because a card is salty doesn't mean it's good. It just means it just annoys people when they see it.
Not the
right?
salty not the salty of the card, the saltiness of the deck.
Well, right, but you could have one card in your deck that was really, really, really salty, but that doesn't mean it was a good card. It was a really salty card. Because there are cards that are really high on like EDA Retch salt scale that I would never put into a deck because I'm like, this card just isn't very good.
VT Virtual Robo Guy, I think that's what his name is. And EDH play 4 games so everyone can play each other's decks, and the winner gets the most wins with all the decks. Well, if we had time to play 4 games, then usually that'd be fun. But we usually sometimes just get 1 game in or 2 games in our days.
Barely
That's
can
a good idea.
barely can get 2.
But like, it's really hard. It's really hard to judge a deck in the bracket system. I understand some people just use the bracket system for the game changers. Like the bracket 2 deck has no game changers in it, but they don't say it plays like a bracket 4. And then all of a sudden you get smashed. Hammered.
Right. That's
Right.
the issue, right? They people can't even accurately put their decks in the right bracket, let alone the bracket a tier system inside of a bracket.
Right.
Hillbilly and I talked about this when we shot our video a while back here, and I've mentioned it a few times since then. I feel like, though, if you're dividing bracket 3 into like 3 more brackets or whatever, like suddenly we're back to 1 out of 10. And I feel like people were more accurate, even though everybody said they did play to 7. For the most part, people were more accurate and able to describe what they said their deck was doing when it was a 1 to 10, just as arbitrary system, because that forced people to say what they were intending with the deck, as opposed to just falling into a rule that they can min-max the deck out in.
Right.
But I do like the idea of the salt score too, though I agree that, my problem is I play the salty cards. People feel like I'm telegraphing what I'm doing, but I'm not doing what you're thinking I'm doing with it. So it puts me in this dilemma of, am I automatically making myself a target just by putting this card down?
Yeah, and look, I don't think the salt score thing will work too well because Hillbilly wants to build a deck around this guy who just alone is 50% salt level. 50% salt.
He ain't that salty.
You put him in your deck and your salt level is 50%.
I think 50%.
You showed me it. And like 50%, and that's just one card. People get salty when they see the card, right? That doesn't describe what the deck does, because Hillbilly wants to build the +1 counters around this deck, like synergy. And to me, that's going against the grain a little. So this deck ain't going to work as powerful as like a straight up Voltron deck. So though he might be at 50% salt level, it's not going to explain what the deck does.
Right.
But I understand adding salt to the mathematic equations for it. But like Rafik the Mini doesn't work that great all the time. Sometimes it works as powerful, and sometimes he doesn't. It's crazy.
Right.
That brings up another thing too, where we're looking at sample sizes, and everybody, I feel like, generally tends to take a small sample size of, oh, this deck didn't work for me the last 2 times I used it, so it's bad. Not necessarily. There's a number of factors, and we're back to the 4-player dilemma where, maybe you were just really bad matchup against somebody else that had really strong things against your deck, or maybe you had miraculous pulls and somebody else had even more miraculous pulls than you did.
Right.
So it's important, I think, to look at the whole thing from a little bit further perspective away too. Also,
Yeah, I said that last week that if you're building a deck, I don't make changes to anything of mine unless I've played it 5 or 6 times and saw the card that I'm considering making changes and just like, okay, this card just doesn't work, right? Like this was the exact scenario I wanted this card for. It didn't do what I thought it would do. It didn't work the way I needed it to. Then I'm going to make changes. But 2 games, nowhere near enough.
Right. Really quick, Aaronsaurus Rex. Hello. Rawr.
Look,
Aaronsaurus Rex. All right. Stasis Orb. Long time no smell. Is your deck a good deck or a deck with good cards? Big difference between the two. There's also a difference between the player navigating the deck.
That's right. I was just going to say that. It's also up to the pilot. I do like the idea. Well, you can't do it on Spell Table, obviously, but when you are meeting at the LGS or whatever, if you can swap decks, sometimes that's the best way to experience things. And a lot of these things are arbitrary, and a lot of these things people are judging by their own experience. So I've played against people that have absolutely awful decks, and they're unfun and they're terrible. And then I played them and it's like, oh, this isn't so bad. I see what they're going for and I can better understand and interact it. Spell table doesn't give you that option, but if you can play with somebody else's deck, sometimes that's a very, very good learning experience.
Or
I keep my big deck box, and people come up to me and ask me every week, "Hey Ray, can I borrow that deck you were playing the other day?" Yeah, absolutely, man. Go nuts.
Yeah.
right, and sometimes, like in Hillbilly's case, we help him with his interactions. Like when he wasn't thinking about scrying for the Bolas Citadel, I'm like, you need to scry, push these cards away so you can get the full advantage out of Bolas Citadel. You don't know what's going to happen. And he could have pushed more scrying in there to see what happens, because all he needed to do was drain people's life, which he did knock down 2 people, which is pretty great.
Nice.
We did that at the last shop I played at. It was a great way to learn, like swapping decks, I believe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like sometimes you need help learning how to navigate your deck, because like not all decks work the same, right? So you gotta have the mentality for the deck. You know,
Yeah,
that's another good
and my
example.
decks are all very, very complicated. Like my decks are, I build my deck specifically to be complicated. So when people borrow a deck, I tell them the exact same thing. Hey, listen, if you're sitting at the table and you're looking at 2 cards and you say to yourself, do these work this way? The answer is almost always yes.
right.
Because I build my decks very complicated just because I get bored easily. That's why I have 12 of them on me at any given time.
Right.
So when other people play them, it's a big shock, right? Because there's just so much going on. There's so many moving pieces that I have to tell them. If you look at 2 cards and you're wondering if these 2 interact the way you think it does, the answer is almost certainly yes.
So kind of going back on the line, right? In the 4-player dilemma, we talked about the line. And I think the line is important. I think it's a good analogy because the line is a focus. And what a line is you want to focus on playing your strategy. So the better you get to know your deck and how it works, and as you build more deck memory, which we discussed before, which is working on the consistency and know what's in your deck and everything, if you can stick to this line of focus and work towards your strategy and just focus on your strategy, you'll get more rewards out of your gains in the long run, no matter how many people try to stop your game plan. But
and the line does take into account what your opponents are doing.
Yes,
right. Like
it's
not just putting your own game plan into position and saying, "Well, I hope nobody gets in the way." It's looking at the board state and going, "Okay, what is my best play here
right.
with all the information that I have?" Right. And maybe it's only a very incremental gain, but you're just looking to not set yourself back. And sometimes that line is, okay, like last night, I'm sitting there. I have two win cons in my hand. I cannot play both of them on the same turn, right? So on the first turn, I look at my opponent. I know she has a counter spell in hand. I don't know if she has 2. So I play the first one, and I lay it down and I look at her, and she goes, "What's that do?" And I tell her, and she goes, "That lets you win the game, right?" Yes. So she counter spells it, and when we come back around the table, I'm like, okay, I don't think she had 2 counter spells. I know she had the 1, and I was right, she did. I'm going to play this other one, and if this doesn't work, then I'm going to have to completely reconfigure my game plan. She did not have another counter spell.
Nice. But yeah, for sure. Like when you fall in line, you got to be prepared for the disruption. That's one of the things you work in your decks with: the removals, the land destructions, the counter spells, and certain things that you play based on your colors, commander identity, or vice versa. On that one, the colors of your commander's color identity, you work to the best removal, which in turn, in this 4-player dilemma, if you're very well versed in the color pie and what removals and cards and disruption are available in those colors, you can kind of guess what is in these other decks, so you can plan around it. You know,
for sure.
Like one of the things I like to do the most is when I have the availability to do it, it's called fishing. And fishing is where you throw a card out there just to get countered or just to get destroyed. You're like, this is what
Bait.
Right.
Yep.
Well, I call it fishing because you got to throw the line out, right?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, no, but it's the same idea, right? It's bait. You're throwing out your bait You're wanting it to get hit. Same concept. I like it. Yeah,
Right.
I call it baiting, but 100%.
Yeah, right. And it's in that segment where I was talking about like you're showing people your left hand, but they don't know what the right hand is doing. You know, that's what you're doing because like you wanting to get people to remove it, and you learn these politics because that's another way to politic. It's a nonverbal way to politic is baiting, fishing, whatever you want to call it. Yeah. Stay Sorb says my deck plays multiple small engines that work together where it's okay to lose a few pieces. Plus, my spells don't really feel like threats until they all come together. That's pretty cool.
It's a good, solid way to do it.
For the people who don't know, is actually one of my long-term friends. I went to college with him or Job Corps with him and all that. That's where I met him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I have several decks that do that. The first game I ever played with Tortoise and Hillbilly, my combo was on board and completely innocuous. I just couldn't win that game. I needed one more turn, and it was I had no clue. Every card there was just like, oh, this all looks completely innocuous. And then I play Sensei's Divining Top 40 times, and
until you find out there's an infinite combo that mills everybody out.
or like, Etherflux Reservoir. I had choices. Etherflux Reservoir. I had decisions to make.
Right. That's why I want to build a 5-color lands deck. Not because it sounds interesting. Well, it sounds interesting to me, but like I want to build a 5-color deck that worries about lands because who wants to sacrifice lands in a 5-color deck, right? I want to get the value out of it. I want to play it, but I want to have options other people don't. And I don't know what it is, but lately I just been a 5-color decks. That's what's got me so strung up on that Turtles deck coming out. It's 5 colors. I'm like, I want 5-color decks. I want 5-color decks. Apparently, I got 2. I need 3 more.
Well, the good thing about that too is you're helping to build your reservoir of knowledge by playing those 5-color things. You're going to know the interactions forwards and backwards by the time that turtle deck comes out, so you'll know what works in it and what doesn't.
Oh yeah, for sure. And really quick, I want to ask Lone Wolf, if there's anything you want to add to this conversation?
I'm going to be honest with you. I agree with everything that's been pretty well said, so I really don't have too much to add.
All right. Just want to give you a chance to speak up since you've been so quiet.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yep. But yeah, so yeah, that seems like we covered a bunch of it. I think it's great. This will definitely be good in the playlist for sure. So if you're watching, please like, comment, subscribe if you like the show because we're going to try to do this more often. Tomorrow episode on Friday, we're going to do a chat chill because I got an appointment in the morning, so I won't be able to plan everything out and stuff. And I got stuff to do tonight. We're going to try to play a game of Commander tonight and all that fun jazz. But with that knowledge in mind, my friends, we got to get to this section.
Hit that subscribe button. Become a part of the crew.
Too much to take. So it's lit. MTG3, are you game? Rise, creep, rise, building a following as we gain. Spitting fire like a dragon, no one can bring us down. MTG3 in the house, we own this town. Ripping through the beats with a fury.
That's right, everybody. Throw your hands in the air. Wave them around like you just don't care. Wear a mohawk and wear a fro. Everybody, we're on the go. That's right. Matt Saxon down here needs a fro. I think he'd look like
I got to do the comb over. I got to pull it up from here now.
That's right. That's awesome. Yeah, we needed Matt Saxon to look like Bob Ross. He can paint his strategy. On
spray it on.
Spray on. I remember those.
Bob Ross of Magic.
Yeah.
It's like he plays the forest. He's like, this is my happy tree.
Well, they did have some artwork done by Bob Ross for Magic.
Huh?
Yeah.
That's very true.
Very cool stuff.
But anyways, we need to get to the thrill section, everybody. The thrill section is where we chill out, and we're going to have a blast doing so. We're going to start with Lone Wolf. Lone Wolf, just talk about what you want really quick.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for having me on, and I'm sorry I don't sound the best, but let's just support everybody here, and let's get Tybalt to 1,000 to 1,500 subscribers, and the same thing with Hillbilly and Tortoise.
right. Whoop, whoop. With that, we're going to roll over to Tybalt.
Hey. So I hate seeing Alex do all the heavy lifting and stuff. So that's why I suggested the card. I think if you're in the Discord, in Superfast Discord, you could do that. That was a card that does a little bit. So I've decided that I don't want any more vanilla cards in my deck. I need cards that do stuff. So that's where we've been there.
You're putting vanilla cards in your deck?
I have a lot of them in there. I'm realizing that with power creep. Anyhow, it's not what I'm here for. It's the shill section. So go to darkritual.site and you can find everything Tybalt's Apprentice there. You can find the Instagram, the store, the whatever. Just check out everything at darkritual.site.
It's all in the description, everybody.
It's all in the description. Awesome.
All right.
Cool.
Rayman.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Thanks for everybody for tuning in. I am once again here at Mr. B's Game Lounge in Pennington Gap, Virginia. I have moved slightly. I don't have Bulma and Master Roshi behind me. I have some other fine characters done by one of the owners. Check out the YouTube channel at Mr. B's Game Lounge. We put up 2 games of Commander this week. The first one ended so quickly they decided to play another one, and that one took 2 hours. So if you want a master class on politicking, watch the second game because somebody politicked themselves right out of certain death and into a second place finish. We have F&M tomorrow night, karaoke on Saturday. So if you're wanting to come play Magic or just have a good time, come check out Mr. B's Game Lounge.
All right. Sounds awesome. And his link is in chat and the description as well. With that, we're going to skip over Hillbilly. No, I'm kidding. Hillbilly, go ahead.
All right. The first thing I want to shill about is this right here. Laurel Eclipse early access streamer event. It'll be on the 14th, starting right after the morning coffee show with Superfast Tortoise. And but anyway, that'll be on the 14th. And this afternoon, I will be doing a arena stream, and I will be also going over the spoilers. Now, tomorrow is supposed to be the last of the spoilers. Will not be a arena stream tomorrow at all, because tomorrow is my birthday. And therefore, it will not be a morning stream or afternoon stream. It'll be sometime in the afternoon that I'll do a spoiler video. That's all I've got planned for tomorrow. And you also, if you want a Theory Crafting deck, throw it into my Discord. I will give you a shout out on the 14th when I start doing this early access streamer event. That's all I got planned for. Thank you. That's all I got planned for today and next few days.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Where is it? You're not going to take it off screen here, Billy?
Nope. That's the rest of the show.
And this is the shill section. He's just chilling hard.
Everybody, today is Thursday. Check it out later. I got some interesting mail from Hillbilly to open up later tonight, so check that around 4:30. And then I got a Commander game I'm going to try to put together tonight, so we're going to play some Commander tonight, probably back at 3. We're going to have fun. Today's going to be an awesome day. So if you want to play Commander and you're part of the Discord, when I shout it out, let me know if you want to play. If you got the setup for Spell Table, you are welcome to play, as long as you're 18 years old or older. But with that, I want to thank you, everybody, for being here today. Rain, Matt, Hillbilly, Matt Saxon, Lone, thank you for being here. Everybody in chat, you're rocking, you rule. Everybody who subscribed today, thank you. I appreciate your subscription. I want to thank you, channel members and subscribers, for growing and supporting the channel the way you do. And I want to remind you, my friends, that you're loved. Someone thinking about you, and if you can, say and or do something positive for someone else today, because you might be the change they need. And with that, my friends, we're going to get to that outro stuff. I want to thank you, channel members of the channel, for supporting this creep the way you do. You are awesome. And you subscribers, everybody that subscribes, you're doing amazing too. Thank you very much for all that you do.
down with friends and chat it up. Bring a smile and good luck, hit that like button and let's chat it up. Good times start with us, you and me. Good morning, welcome to the morning coffee show. Let's talk from in the shell and share good vibes and good times. Friends and friends that bend the senses. Let's get a bit senseless. Welcome to the morning coffee show, where we bring good vibes and good times. Welcome to the morning coffee show.